Self compassion is the ability to treat yourself with love, with care, with kindness, and with understanding, especially during times when you are going through difficulties, challenges, or failures. It is the ability to extend the same grace that you would to someone that you cared about, like your friends or your family, to yourself. We often find it easier to be kind to other people, but it's so difficult to be kind to ourselves. In this video, I'm going to break down why that is and share with you some tips that can help you start to be more kind and more loving to yourself. Self compassion is one of the major pillars of self love. It is so fundamental to building a good, healthy relationship with yourself. Personal growth is not possible if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself. Growth never happens in a toxic environment. You can learn to create a friendly, comfortable relationship with yourself where you accept your flaws, your failures, and your challenges. It is our natural tendency to beat ourselves up when we make mistakes, when we fail at living up to the values and the standards that we have set for ourselves. We have thoughts like we're not good enough, or that we are bad people, or that we are not worthy of love because we have made this mistake. When we talk about compassion as it regards other people, we can say that compassion is showing kindness and care to the people that we care about when they are suffering. We extend love, we extend understanding, and we extend grace to them. Imagine if your closest friend, somebody that you really cared about, or your family member or a sibling came up to you and broke down in front of you, crying about how they feel like they're a failure, how they feel like they are not meeting up to expectations, how they have made mistakes in their life. What would be your reaction for this person that you love and that you care about? Most likely, if you truly care about that person, the love that you have for them will move you to remind them that they are human and that they are not different from you or from any other person. You find yourself sharing the instances in your life as well where you failed, just so that they don't feel alone. That is the concept of compassion, and that is also the concept of self-compassion. One inevitable aspect of life is the fact that we are imperfect. No matter what standards you set for yourself, no matter what you say you're going to do, at one point or the other, you're going to fail at doing those things. For example, you could be on a weight loss journey and you have set these goals, and the first few weeks you're fine. But after a while, you find that you are going back to your same habits. You're doing the same things that you said that you're not going to do. And now you're feeling guilty, you're feeling bad, you're feeling terrible within yourself. You're now looking at yourself as a failure, as someone who is not worthy to be called a human being because you failed at something. Well, that is not how you should approach such matters. You need to understand that you're human. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is above failure. No one is above making mistakes. There are three components of self compassion: there is self kindness, there is mindfulness, and there is shared humanity. Shared humanity is simply talking about the fact that as human beings, one of the shared human experience that we have is that we are not perfect. Everybody is flawed. Everybody struggles. You see all those your little personal failures, all the things that you're ashamed of, all your deepest, darkest secrets. There is always someone out there who is having the same experience that you're having. You know, all those instances where somebody comes online and shares parts of themselves or their personal story about something that's happened to them or a painful experience that they have had. And all of a sudden, you see people from different parts of the world coming to say, "Oh, I feel exactly the same way. I had exactly the same experience." And most of the time, it's such a healing experience for that person who shared it and for the people who also come in, because when you see that you're not alone in that experience, it doesn't take away what you're experiencing, but it makes you feel not alone. And being not alone is a very big deal because human beings, we do not thrive in isolation. We need to feel like we belong in a community. And when you feel like you belong, even in your pain, even in your suffering, even in your failures, it makes life so much easier to live. I was listening to a podcast, and one of the speakers talked about an experience that she had when she was a child. She got pregnant as a very young teenager. She was the daughter of a pastor. So imagine the shame and the suffering that she went through as a result of that experience. So later down the line, she started a blog about her experience. And before she knew it, people started gathering towards what she was saying because they could relate to what she was saying. She said it was such a healing experience for her because she had, for a very long time, felt so alone. And seeing how her vulnerability helped other people because she had people coming to say, "Oh, thank you so much for sharing this. I thought I was alone in this experience." And she felt so much better. It didn't take away the pain and the regrets and whatever she had from that experience, but it made it much better because when you remember that you're not alone, that the same way you're feeling is how someone else is feeling, it makes things so much better. Trust me. The second aspect of self compassion is self kindness. Most of the time, the way we talk to ourselves is harsh, it's critical. That creates a toxic environment within yourself, and nothing grows in a toxic place. So, you must learn how to be kind to yourself. And the major way is to change your self talk. The first step for you to do this is to build awareness of the way that you currently talk to yourself. Every time you notice yourself talking badly to yourself, make a note, write it down, or just mentally note it. Build the habit of taking note of the time that you say something negative to yourself. By the time you begin to build this awareness, then you can go into the next step, which is every time you notice that you have said something bad to yourself, say the opposite. Counteract that terrible negative word you have said to yourself with something positive and with something kind. It's going to be very hard at first, but over time it becomes a habit because all thoughts are habits. Your negative self talk is as a result of a habit that has been entrenched in your mind for a very long time. And now it happens automatically without you knowing. To change that, it is not impossible, but you need to build the awareness first. And then every time that you say something bad or negative to yourself, you counteract it with something positive. Think about the moments in your day that you're especially critical to yourself. Maybe it's when you're getting ready in the morning and you talk badly to yourself as you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Be very aware during that time and make conscious efforts, even if it doesn't feel natural in the beginning, because it will not feel natural in the beginning. But it is your job to rewire your negative self talk for the better. Think about it this way: there are two people in your head. There is the negative person and there is the positive person. The positive person is the person that is going to bring love and care and compassion to you. That is your friend. And now the negative person, the person who has been in your head for so long, telling you how stupid, how worthless, how useless, how ugly, how you don't deserve love. That wonderful friend exists, but you have shut that person out for so long that that person is scared to talk. Now it's your job to quiet down the negative person and to give this positive person the room to grow and to breathe. So every time you counteract a negative talk with a positive talk, you're slowly killing this negative person and you're giving life to this positive person. And over time, you will see such tremendous change. The third aspect of self compassion is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be present in the moment. And when it comes to this topic, it means being present with your emotions and taking your emotions as they are, not adding to them. What do I mean by this? You feel that something, you're feeling disappointment, pain, sadness, and that is okay. No one is telling you not to feel those feelings, but don't compound them. The moment you start beating yourself up, oh, I'm not good enough, and you start recounting all the times in your life where you failed as well, then you're adding to that. You're not adding shame on top of that. You're adding self hatred on top of that. So, mindfulness is talking about how to be present with your emotions, how to not over exaggerate your emotions, how to take your emotions as they come for what they are. There is something known as primary and secondary emotions. The primary emotions are the emotions that you feel in the moment, which are a direct response to something that has happened. Someone insulted you, you're feeling angry. That is a primary emotion. It's a response to what has happened. And in your fit of anger, you say something bad and terrible to this person. You made a promise to yourself weeks ago that I'm never going to say anything in anger because that is a standard that I've set for myself. And now you're falling short of that standard because you're a human being. You messed up, which is something that we do. So now not only are you feeling angry, you're adding to that, which is shame. Shame is coming in. You're feeling ashamed of yourself. You're beginning to blame yourself. That is a secondary emotion. A secondary emotion is an emotion that is felt as a result of a primary emotion. It's adding complications, like adding fuel to the fire. In essence, mindfulness is feel your emotions, feel the primary emotions, and don't compound your problem. Try as much as possible to not overthink things. When you are feeling something, just sit with those emotions. In my last two videos, where I talked about emotional intelligence and ways to get through difficult times in your life, I talked about how you can handle negative emotions. If you can learn that skill of learning to manage negative emotions without suppressing them, without over exaggerating them, then it's going to be much easier to be compassionate and kind to yourself. So, yes, those are the three major components of self compassion. I talked about the concept of shared humanity, where every one of us we have the shared human experience of being imperfect, of being flawed, and of experiencing pain and suffering. Secondly, I talked about self kindness, where instead of being harsh and critical to ourselves when we fail, when we have challenges, we learn how to be kind and loving to ourselves. And here I emphasize self talk as the major way to change the way that you treat yourself. And finally, I talked about mindfulness, learning how to manage negative emotions without compounding them or without suppressing and ignoring them. Self compassion is key to living a good life, to living a happy and peaceful life. And not only will it benefit you, it will also benefit other people that you care about. Because once you're able to fill yourself with love, with kindness, and with empathy, you can extend that same love and care and grace to other people. Not saying that you cannot be compassionate to others without being compassionate to yourself, but that compassion that you extend to others when you can do that for yourself is so much more special because now you really truly understand what it means to suffer or to go through failures. I hope this talk was able to give you a foundation on how to learn to be kinder to yourself. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.